I was making tunes and I was bringing them down here, innit, Jay? And Jay was saving my life with the mix downs. I'll do a mix downs, he'd come down here and save my life, I swear down. So like basically at the moment I'm trying to learn about frequencies a lot more, because before I'd bang a tune together and the idea would be there, but the mix down's really important, and that's what I think a lot of people need to focus on, is mix down. With my production, that's why I'm trying to take it to the next level, like improve it and learn from all the guys like Benny and Scream and all the guys who are making wicked tunes, and listening to what Jay's got to say, and like actually learning from these guys, you know what I mean? Because they're the dons, mate, do you know what I mean? And what they're doing, they're the dons, and you need to take influence from people. You can't like sort of expect to like sit in your room with all your doors and all your windows shut and not listen to anything what else is going on and then take it there. Well, I mean, some people may be, but like not for me. I always take influence from people who I know are like the dons of what they're doing, and that's what I'm trying to do at the moment, so it's all good. I've had a few releases though, it's been nice, hasn't it? Funniest things that happened to me through my sets, I don't know really, like I've done like 1,000,001 stupid clumsy things before. One of the classic ones where I think every DJ has done this once, yeah, is like go to like, you're doing whatever you're doing and someone's talking to you and you're like, yeah, and you go to pick up the record to get the next record, and you pick up the record on the wrong deck, and then all this music goes,
I've done that.
Jay's done it?
I've done that. We've all done it.
We've all done it, mate. That's the standard one. The other thing I quite like is shots while I'm on the decks. That's quite alright. Like Finland, big up the Finland gang here, because when I was out there, every 5 minutes I looked up, there was a shot in my face, and it was like, yeah, son. I said, I'm trying to do something. They're like, do it. And I said, I'm trying to do something. Do you know what I mean? I'm trying to mix in the middle of a mix with a fucking shot of Zambuca in my face. So then it was just like bosh, bosh, bosh. And by the end of the set, mate, I was wasted. Mate, back in the day, yeah, I used to be a killer for getting wasted on a set. Now, no way, mate, I'm like good for that. Like now there's loads of people there and they're like coming to see you. The worst thing to do is get wasted on a set. So now I'm like, Mr. Yeah, right, couple of cokes, yeah, try and be professional, man, because you can't be all over the shop, man. Look, kids don't come to raves to watch someone like mashed out of their face, like dribbling all of that over the decks, like clanging it up all over the shop, mate. People don't want to see that, so it's all about being professional. So yeah, back in the day was probably the funny days, but we ain't gonna talk too much about that anyway. Yeah, this is N-Type, and I'm signing off now. You've been watching Dubfiles. Big up.
Boy, Slaughter Mob is like, it's 4 members of Slaughter Mob. Yeah, you got myself, like Vicious MC, you got like Bandit, hello, yeah, and then you got like another member, Darren, yeah, like which is like Vicious MC, oh, sorry, Dangerous MC, yeah. Then you got Q Nice, yeah, which is the other DJ, yeah. So like we all kind of come together like through the garage scene, really, innit? Yeah. So like it was like we kind of like we had the same kind of taste in music. You like the more dubby, kind of underground side of it, yeah? It's like
non-vocal, yeah,
non-vocal, not too pretty, none of that Chocolate Boy stuff, you get what I'm saying? Like, just a bit, you know what I mean? All the ones that they were playing in the club, we normally wouldn't really have played them, you know what I'm saying? And it kind of, it tell because we weren't getting the bookings then either, because no one went really into that, you know what I'm saying? But then, luckily, Forward came along, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then we found there was other people like ourselves who like that same kind of underground kind of stuff, you get what I'm saying? So like, we kind of fell into place by that, really, you get me? Like, we've been together since, what?
10 years now.
Well, over that now.
Unfortunately.
Over that now, mate. You get me? I'm gonna sack you soon. He's doing
it. No, it's about 10 years, yeah. Because I think we was on, is it Chicago? Yeah, I was about 19, so that's about 10
Chicago,
years.
Then it was like Mission, yeah. Yeah, we've done a little underground.
The good old days, eh?
What do you call it? The pirate radio station circuit kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, which everyone was doing back then kind of thing, and then like, after that kind of phased out and the garage scene kind of phased out, we was left with like a music that had no name kind of, which everyone who was in it back then would tell you, like, it never really had no name kind of thing. And like, boy, eventually this dubstep terminology kept on coming out from somewhere, and like certain people liked the name, some people didn't like the name, but luckily it stuck, and boy, the music that we was told we was making is dubstep music, simple things.
The first release that we probably, with dubstep sort of thing was JJ Lewis's N19. And that was when we first started working with N-Double Roots, yeah. And that was about 99.
Yeah. That's when we first started to think, right.
And that was when it was. So that was when we was sort of our influences. Then was sort of like LB and Steve Gurley and
Z-Bias.
So we was trying to sort of go down that road, but obviously ours wasn't sort of like as polished and as good as their stuff.
Yeah, because we're just starting out them times there.
But it still had the same sort of vibe to it, do you know what I mean? But that sort of like went under the radar because it was a white, and it's still sold, isn't it? It's sold out or whatever, but people didn't really know sort of
who kind of done
what
it,
it was, or
do
you know what I mean, or who it was about or whatever. So then after that we did that Pink Panther thing, you know?
Yeah, we did that. Well, we did that. Didn't come out, though, did it?
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
On whose label?
JJ Lewis put that.
Oh yeah, on N19 again. Yeah.
So then after that, I think it was probably the Soldier thing.
It was the Soldier.
Because for a while, it was a bit of a thing of
just making the beats and playing them. We never really had no idea to be people.
And maybe just getting the sound and more polishing it. So like the Soldier thing was 4 tracks that were made more over a length of time, rather than, you know, like sometimes you sort of cut the sessions and it's put together and it's there. This was sort of like over a period of months, just sort of like coming back to it and adding little bits and getting it sort of like to how it ended up coming out. So there was a Dub Weapon, Zombie, Thriller Funk and Sada. Yeah. So basically the Reflex project came about by the guys at Reflex Records was Grant.
Apex Twins, isn't it?
Grant, yeah, but it was Grant. Grant got sent a copy from Neil, I think, and I think he wanted to sign the Soldier thing. He wanted to put that out, but they obviously weren't really up for that. So he said, well, they'd been coming down to Forward, and they were into, you know, stuff that they'd put out previously and stuff like that. So they said, like, well, why don't we, you know, try and do this sort of like compilation thing. So they said, okay, what we'll do is we'll work with the last 3 artists that you've had on Soldier, which was us, Plastician and Mark 1.
Mark 1, yeah.
So that's sort of how that came about. They said, like, right, let's do this then. So they sort of asked us to submit tracks to them along with Mark 1 and Plastician, and that's how it got together.
That was definitely the main. That was definitely the first kind of bringing it out from underneath kind of thing. Definitely, they helped to bring it out from underneath.
Yeah, loads of people that just didn't have a clue about it
like,
was suddenly, what is this? You know.
And still to this day, kind of some people got a bit confused because obviously the title was called Grime, innit? But really it was dubstep music. You know what I'm saying? But like, it was. That's how the music goes. But
I think, see, back then there was still this thing of the name.
Yeah, what is the name?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think from Grant's perspective, he wanted dubstep to go under the grime banner because it was instrumental music, like grime. Do you know what I mean? So I think that's what his angle was. You know, he wanted dubstep maybe not to have its name dubstep. It would be. I mean, if he'd have had his way, it might have been called grime now. Do you know what I mean? But, do you know what I mean? I personally don't think it could have.
I don't either, because I think it is to me, when I listen to grime, it is a total different type of music. Like, there might have been back then certain elements, like, for where, because even they were starting out then, you know what I'm saying? So there might have been certain elements that we all, and a lot of the grime boys come out of the garage scene as well. So there were certain elements that we all would have that we like, to get what I'm saying? But with the essence of it really is, grime to me personally doesn't necessarily have to have a deep bass, you get what I'm saying? Because you always got the rapper or the spitter doing his thing on top, yeah? And he is as much as part of it as the beat is, you get what I'm saying? Where with dubstep, 99% of the time, it is just the music only, you know what I'm saying? So in order to keep that interesting, you need to have a lot more changes and things in there. You can't just have a little repetitive element, you get me? You'll have the little noises and the sounds coming in and out, you get what I'm saying, to break it up a piece, you get what I'm saying, break up the monotony. Thriller Funk, that was the one, that was kind of like, apart from Forward, that was kind of like the first, to me, to my knowledge, it was kind of like the first like other dubstep dance that you could go to.
That's
really.
Right,
yeah.
So what we tried to do was, we was getting all this great music off like Benga, Scream, you know, well, loads of people in it that weren't really getting any bookings down at Forward.
Yeah. Even man, all them guys, like, we even had them man there doing that. That was before they was even really known.
We're thinking to ourselves, you know, how come these guys aren't?
Yeah, because their beats are
like, they're making some sick tunes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, right, F it, let's do it. So we'd get these guys coming to play down there. Do you know what I mean? And let other people see what they can do, sort of thing.
Rather than the same old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because for a scene to grow, you need to have a bit of variety in there. You can't just have one little small group of people doing the whole thing, because it's just not going to really.
That's not a scene, really, is it?
No. What happened was we started the first one was sort of like towards the summer, and then they left it for a few months, and then they gave us another date in December, and it was just before Christmas, and that night went off. It was just rammed. But then going into the new year, they changed the day on us, and I think we sort of rushed into it a bit too much and didn't give it the time that it needed to kickstart a night in a new year. Do you know what I mean? So the January one, which I think we should have really skipped, we did, and it wasn't very busy. So then, by then, the promoter or the owner of the night is thinking, "Oh, I'm not so sure about this now," you know. So then,
remember, the owner of the club.
The February one was a bit better again. It was a bit better than the January one, but it wasn't too hot again. Do you know what I mean? But by then, kind of the damage had been done, you know. So he basically said, "Right, you know, I don't think it's going to work. We'll try this again in another few months' time," you know, because the music was such a new genre anyway. He himself wasn't sure how it was going to go, you know, so he was a bit, you know,
he wasn't ready to take, really.
Exactly. Which is funny because some of their Thursday nights are never great anyway, no matter what music you put.
Well, it is a Thursday. To me, making music, because we're like, most of us are all self-taught kind of thing. Like, so you're always, to me, making music is a learning thing all the time. You always learn that when you bring out a new piece of software or a new plugin, you need to learn how to use it. So to me, we've just learned, we've got a lot more knowledge of the music game, the dubstep scene, like what to me, what kind of works and what really don't work. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things there. We've got much more knowledge now, I think, than we had back then. You know what I mean? Back then it was just more of like, I just want to build tunes, you know what I'm saying? But now I have a focus when I'm building my tunes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'll build a tune. If I want to build a tune that has a certain sound to it, I can do that. Where back then, I'll just build a tune, yeah? And whatever sound it had, you get what I'm saying? But now we build with a focus kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And like the scene in itself, I think it's good that you got people from all over with bringing their take on it, you know what I'm saying? Because you'll hear people like from like Bristol making their things, you know what I'm saying? And their ones don't sound like ours down there, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like they're trying to copy, they're making their own dubstep with their own signature on it, which to me is a good thing for a scene, really.
I've learned how to do production and make tracks, arrange tracks, twiddle bass lines. Now I've started a label, do you know what I mean? So over the years, you sort of like want to take in fresh things and learn new things, start trying to do nights and, do you know what I mean, get the right people down at the nights and the right sort of sound system in there and all that. So that is something that I've done over the years where it's changed, you know, from starting as a sort of pirate radio DJ to now trying to sort of like run a few.
You hit the nail on the head, especially the sound system thing. That was like, in the beginning, obviously you want to, any rave you want to have a nice system, but it wasn't the main focus kind of thing. But now, in a dubstep, to have a dubstep dance, you have to have a decent enough system in there, otherwise people they walk. Because remember, everyone's producing a lot of low-end basses, and if those speakers can't really produce those basses, you ain't hearing nothing. You get me? You're hearing treble. You get me? That's a thing that's changed a lot. Back in the day, people was happy to just rave anywhere. Now your system shoddy. It ain't working. You get me?
Halo Beats is one of the labels. It's 6 release is going to be him coming out in the next couple of weeks. Then we've got another label starting up, which is
the Slugs in the Mud.
Slugs in the Mud. The first release for that is hopefully going to be out in the next couple of months as well. So like, there's a couple of labels, but
and we've got lots of bits like just on many different people's labels. You got like Hot Flush, we're on
label sluts.
Really and truly, like the usual equipment, like you just got your little either it's PC or it's a Mac. You get me, one of the other. You get what I'm saying? And boy. Not mainly in like software based, like we don't really deal in a lot of outboard, you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it ain't good, but I'm just saying for us personally, the software based studio is the way we like to do things, you know what I'm saying? All the plugins, all that usual stuff where you might have a few artists who only deal in the old school way of doing things, like maybe, like because we built tunes with LB and them and he likes to use the outboard stuff, he likes to use the little synthesizer rather than the software synth, you know what I'm saying? He likes to use maybe a sampler rather than the software sampler, you know what I'm saying? But it's all down really to me, like whatever you can use it or whatever you think it sounds good. Because if you don't like the software ones, then you ain't gonna really build a good tune. If you like the outboard shits, then boy, you're all good. We use just straightly like the Mac and like keyboards, simple mixing desk, you get me? Simple. It's a very small system. You don't really need too much.
Reason,
you know what I mean?
basically is what you're
Yeah, no, I use Reason. Yeah, but what I'm saying is we use Reason and Logic.
Yeah.
Simple things. So.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is, that's all you need. Certain people will just say to you, you only need Reason. You know, simple things.
Well, there is a lot of people that are just using Reason or Fruity Loops, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? So I mean, a few years ago, I had a bit of a stigma. It's like, oh, you can't make decent tunes on it. But I've changed my tune a lot over the last couple of years. Since I've heard, you know, and then heard what it's been made on, I'm like, what? You know? So now I don't